Hey everybody, Bloodless Knight back here with another Raid Shadow Legends video for you. Here to explain to you what the latest goal that I've been trying to achieve in this game. And yes, I've been playing this a lot because, for those of you that know, I've been stuck at work. I gotta go to work again today. I've been stuck at work. So this is what I've been doing. So I just wanted to cover one of the latest goals that I was doing to explain in my last video of where I'm at now and how I managed to get to where I'm almost done. I am one stage away from finishing it. And that is Faction Wars. I've been having a lot of fun here with Faction Wars. I love the challenge. That was the thing. Now, there were some that was just incredibly hard and frustrating, and I'll cover which ones were. But as you can see, look how close I am. You can't see how much stars, my head's in the way. One stage away. And I'm sure you can see which one it is right now. It's on the left. Demon Spawn is the last one where I have the final stage left. I have to face the boss, the Dueler. That's it. Once that's done, and I have to wait 5 days because I ran out of keys. But once that's done, I will finally have Lydia. This has been my goal that I've been doing now since I came back after my long hiatus from the game. And the fact that I'm now seeing it, to be able to be like, oh, I'm almost done. I'm going to have an extremely powerful support champion that hardly anyone has, because faction crypts at times is very frustrating. And I will cover which ones they were that were the most frustrating, which ones I enjoyed the most. And again, to me, ever since I finished my first goal when I came back, which was clan boss, and I can finally one key nightmare, I went over to here and I started focusing on this, and it's almost done. Once this is done, I have another goal in mind to do. But this one, I just couldn't believe. It was nice to be able to, now that I have the way of getting the resources of leveling up champions for food, getting champions more frequently to 6-star without paying a whole lot, and just acquiring the gear and switching it around to get the right necessary teams to complete these, I loved it. Especially like just looking, what was great about the challenge was looking who I had to acquire it. Now there will be a few on here where I've done a lot of legendaries, like Bannerlord. This was one of the easiest ones I did, because all my legendaries keep getting pulled as under Bannerlord. Same with Sacred Order. They were the easiest to do. And I've already had champions fully maxed out for what they were, especially since I have a few of them from both these factions meant for arenas. So that's why that was so easy. But others were just a complete frustrating. It's why Demon Spawn's not done yet. Demon Spawn, oof, I'll tell you. But again, it was a nice challenge to see what can I do, who do I go after, and what team can I build to try and get all this done, to just get all the stages done once for 3 stars, to get 63 stars. And that was a fun challenge, and it's going to be sad knowing that it's going to be gone. The only thing I can do now is to try and get a better team and improve the time, and just farm the final boss. That way I can get the 6-star glyphs. That'll be something on the passive side after this. The first goal is to finish this and get Lydia. Now, yeah, so it's going to be sad that that's going to be gone, because it was a fun challenge, and some of these teams were hilariously fun, and some were hilarious, and others were still frustrating beyond belief just to get it done. But that was the beauty of the challenge. So that's why I wanted to explain about which ones I had the most enjoyment out of and which ones I had the most frustrations, because even then, I'm not a whale in this game. I'm not. If I was a whale, Demon Spawn would have been the first one done, because I would have went after and tried pulling from Duchess in those progress events. I would have had Duchess. I don't. Anyone who has Duchess, do Demon Spawn. You will finish it with her. She is insane. She can pretty much help you clear all Demon Spawn, no problem. Just having her as your only utility, and just everyone else glass cannons, she will do it. So, but yeah, a lot of us have problems with that too. So I kind of want to just cover a little bit about what I did and how much enjoyment I had doing this, and hopefully give you some insights about my restrictions and limitations as well. Because others will go right ahead and just make a video on it and say, this is what it is, this is the team you need to set up on, and go, okay. And I watched and went, well, it's kind of easy for you to do. You have every champion. That's how I felt. I'm like, you have every champion. I still have the restrictions. I have the limitations. But that was the beauty of it. Like, what can I do to get this going? And some of these, again, just out of luck, had the champions do it, like Bannerlord and Sacred Order. I had the champions for. Others, I did not have the champions for. Oh. One faction crit against the boss was like, oh man. I still couldn't believe I beat it, but oh, I hated it. I hated it so much. So now just to go over every single faction crit, which one, again, the easiest, and which one was the most frustrating for me with who I had, and which one was the most fun to actually try and build and do something with. So, again, what I did for figuring out about teams is having a really good relative, just one extremely good DPS, and that does mean you're most likely going to have to 6-star him. No, not you. Although I did use her. So some of these, I did not have Lady Mikage either. So that was another challenge, especially with Shadowkin. But some of these I did. There's a 6-star tank, but when going for a DPS, you definitely need to have a really good one that will just do a lot of damage to the waves, as well as enough damage to the boss. And you can make some glass cannons like Wukong here. Everyone can get Sun Wukong. You still get him right now if you're a free player. Just use the promo code. Don't use any others. Use just the one for him, so you have him. And with him, it's like, yeah, you want to get Sun Wukong, you make him your strongest DPS. You give him 100% crit, and this is the problem with mine. I don't have high crit damage. But you want to do that, so that you have a dedicated DPS. Then you want to try and build a team with utility around it to assist to easily clear the waves. Now, you can do more DPS to help with that, such as Skinwalkers here. I also had Gwendolyn. So I used Gwendolyn and Wukong as my two main damage dealers, and with how they are with their AoE and buff removal and block buffs from Sun Wukong and her doing a whole bunch of damage was increased accuracy as well. Definitely helped clear the waves out. The boss, however, was a little bit more difficult because now I have 2 glass cannons. But yeah, that can help you sometimes. So then it's like, okay, you got your glass cannon, you got your main DPS. What do? Then builds other champions to help support to keep them alive. And what I had is, as you can see, I got Steel Skull. And the reason I did Steel Skull is because he's got a cleanse heal, which I'm like, that's really good. And then this increased defense, and then heals everyone for 20% max HP. That's also good. I'm like, oh, that's actually amazing. So I used him for utility to heal my 2 DPS to keep him alive and give him an increased defense buff. The other one I had was Hofaries. And also mainly because I did pull that. But he also has great utility. If you want to give him... I didn't build him for accuracy. If you want to, do it for stun. But I have him just to survive and put him in bolster gear to live. Because he has increased attack and crit rate, which definitely helped them even further. But also he has the revive in case Gwendolyn goes down. I didn't have to worry about Sun Wukong. He comes back up. But Gwendolyn I did. And because of that I had these 2 as utility to support them, they were able to just clear waves and stay alive. Now, the only problem I have with this one is I did use a Kentum, and you don't want to use a Kentum on this boss. That'll be explained later. But that's the idea of what I did with all these teams. I should have built Naruhorn to 6-star. 5-star, he's still squishy. So, but I need to get him to 6-star. Well, I'm already done. I don't have to. But if you have Naruhorn and you want to use him, because he's the easiest one to get, he's a rare, you have to get him to 6-star. He's still too squishy at 5. I've done a full bolster, everything. I switched even some of my best ones to him. He was still so squishy. But get him to 6. I would get some Naruhorn to 6-star, not only for this, but also for other areas. But yeah, that provoke. Sometimes the CC, a mass CC, would definitely help you a lot with this. But that was the idea I did with all my teams, was who's my main DPS glass cannon? Who can I put in to protect them? Who can I put in to revive and heal them to keep the team alive to easily get 3 stars? And who can I have for CCs? Just not in any particular order except for the main DPS. That's what I try to do for every single faction. Now, again, some factions were extremely harder than others, just because of who I had. So, out of all these, again, Sacred Order and Bannerlord, as I said earlier, were the easiest because all my legendaries kept getting pulled from there. Not to mention, most of the free legendaries we get ended up on Bannerlord. So they're the easiest ones to go through. And even if you somehow don't have all the champions yet, just do that so you can get the higher ones to get increase amounts to make perception gear, because that's the best gear in the game. And then also get some glyphs. So that's what I use these two now. I just farm on them. I go to the end, either face the boss or right before the boss and just clear it out. Because I still have my teams that strong. The other factions I had a lot of fun with, Shadowkin. I had the most fun trying to develop a team with Shadowkin. And yes, it was still very difficult because I looked through all of Shadowkin. Well, who's the healer? And I went, I don't have one. I don't. So if I go here, I only got 28. I don't have a healer. It wasn't until halfway past that I get Hotatsu. He's the healer. That's it. 1 turn continuous heal. That's it. I don't even have mine booked, so I still had to do it on a 4-turn cooldown. But that is a great utility to have to keep your champions alive even further. So when I got Hotatsu, I geared him up, got him the 5-star just for that fact. Because I don't have a healer. There wasn't really anyone, no one here with a healer. The only one that I was looking at to do was Kunoichi, because she gives a mass AoE leech. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. Because I was like, okay, so no one's really a healer. Okay, so since no one's really a healer that I don't have, who do I have that can revive at least? And I went through even the legendaries I went through, and I went, oh, this is going to be even bad. Where's the reviver? No one. And then I looked and I found out I had Kinigashi. Only one. I was like, oh, this is going to suck. It's like, that's it? I was like, that's it? I'm like, oh, this is going to suck. No dedicated healer and only 1 reviver. I'm like, oh, this is going to be brutal. That is useful, though. It's random allies, sadly, but that's useful. So that was the thing with why it was so fun. I was looking at how to do it, and I managed to do it, because I got Kinigashi, and when I finally got Hotatsu, got him up. And then, like I said earlier, with the dedicated glass cannon was Genbo, because I have mine spec for Arena, and he's 6-star awakened, so I got lucky there for that one. But used him as my damage dealer, and then it's like, okay, who else do I use? Well, almost everyone in Shadowkin's a damage dealer. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll figure I just have Hotatsu and Kinigashi as support to keep them alive a little longer and revive if someone does die, but then the rest just go crazy. But then I also had Kyoku, because I got lucky with her a long time ago. It's like, all right, here's the only one I have that could try and keep him alive even longer, especially against the boss. So I'm like, all right, try and get her going and see how that works. And it worked. She helped me keep my team alive, so there's my tank. So I was like, okay, good. At least I got a tank. And then I used Genbo, and then when I got Jintoro, I used Jintoro. And it was interesting how well that worked. That was a lot of fun. And when I go and fought the boss, I just got rid of Hotatsu because he couldn't keep the heals up, and got Ninja to go faster. Ninja for me was not working on the waves as well as I wanted to, even though I have him really spec'd really good for boss kills. Just wasn't doing the waves for me. So that's why I went and did Jintoro, because Jintoro does have turn meter reduction. So that did help, and also put some debuffs out. And then Genbo, of course, Genbo. And I had a few others that could help too, like Yoshi, but then I had stopped doing Yoshi because I don't have him 6-star. And I didn't have a team spec'd around that Yoshi could definitely utilize the best. So when I did that, I'm like, okay, that's my team. So I went with that as my team, and I actually had a lot of fun and succeeded, so that was great. So that was fun. And that's what I'm going to miss, is that challenge of doing with Shadowkin, because it's like 1 healer, 1 reviver. Good luck. And it's the same with one of the hardest ones, is Demon Spawn. Because I looked through all of Demon Spawn. All of Demon Spawn. I went, all right, who's the healers, who's the revivers? Same thing. Almost no one. I went, oh, okay. So I'm like, how am I going to do this then? If I have no healer and no reviver? The only ones I had was just a soft heal of Fellhound from this, like a weak continuous heal for 2 turns, and then a Beazle who only does 40% every 3 turns. No cleansers. I'm like, okay, That's going to be even harder than I thought, because that's going to be really tough to keep him alive that way. So now I was like, okay, well, because I did not, at the time, did not have Wither. I just pulled Wither. I really need to do videos of pulling. I just pulled Wither. If you have Wither, congratulations. Your team's going to pretty much stay alive throughout all of it, except for the boss, because he hits hard. So like, okay, there we go. So now that I finally have her, but I got her so late, she's only here for the last stage. But it's Wither. Of course I'm going to spec her out and use her for Arena. She's amazing. But if you have Wither, no problem. If you have Dur, definitely, because he's a reviver. There's only 2 revivers in all of Demon Spawn, and I don't have either of them. Dur, who also has the bigger version, even though continuous heals only for 1 turn, he has a bigger version of Fellhound's ability. And the other one that I wish I had, this proves I'm not a whale, it's Duchess. Because if I was a whale, I would have bought a lot of shards to pull her in a progressive chance just to have Duchess. She's insane. Still being one of the top metas in Arena. She's insane. You have, if any of you have Duchess, you got Demon Spawn done. You do. Just amazing with buff removals, or debuff removals, not buff removals. And then, of course, continuous heal and revives all dead allies for 70%. You build her to survive so that the boss can't kill her, and then you're going to town. I wish I had Duchess. I would have had Demon Spawn done a long time ago. But I worked with who I had. I did get Scored, and Scored helped me advance because he's my damage dealer. I did not have a really good damage dealer at all. I tried a few, couldn't do it. So I was like, okay. Like, I tried Urticata here, and I couldn't do it. But when I got Scored, there we go. I've had Kymar for a long time. He's great for utility of also going faster and resetting my abilities to clear the waves. I did pull Drexstar, who everyone can get for free. Nice CC control provoke and burns everything. Yeah. But because I didn't have a dedicated healer like Wither here, I was like, how am I going to get my team to survive? And then this is the fun part why I love this so much, of building teams. I went, hold up. I have Drexstar, a tanky HP burner. It's like, yeah, I have Drexstar, and he's my lead for accuracy. Okay. And then I looked, I also have Akoth, who I did 6-star real fast. It's like, yeah, okay. I have 2 HP burners, and then I went and looked at who else I had. I have Achek. I went, I forgot about Achek. I've had him the whole time. I was using him for a bit. What does he do again? So I look back. And yes, block debuffs and strengthen. Nice for the boss. Freeze and HP burn. Still a really low chance. That hurts. I was like, okay. But it was this passive I looked at and went, oh, that's nuts. We're doing that. We're doing that. I have 2 dedicated HP burners on the team that I'm using now. Akoth, who also gives a shield, and Drexstar, who does a provoke. And they have a high chance of putting HP burn with the gear I put them on. And then I'm like, here's Achek, where if someone with an HP burn takes a damage, or takes a turn, 5% heal on all my team. I went, oh, this could work. It worked beautifully to where they couldn't even kill Scored, and Scored's my glass cannon. I was like, I can't believe that worked. I can't believe that worked. So now what I'm going to do with the final boss, because it's the last stage I got to do, is, of course, I'm still going to have Drexstar and Scored, is I'm debating on Akoth's going to stay because he has the shield. Do I want to keep Achek or Kymar in replace of Wither? That is the thing. Like, who am I going to replace to put Wither? And that's the one thing that I'm still like looking, But when it comes back, I can try it. Like, try once with Kymar. If that doesn't work, try it with Achek. Doesn't work, figure out something else. But that's what I'm trying to figure out, is who to throw in with Wither, because Wither's a cleanser healer that's just great in keeping your team alive. Which is going to be needed for the boss, because that boss hits hard. It's the dueler. But that was the thing with Demon Spawn, is that this was the toughest one to do. Because, again, very, very soft heals and only 2 revivers. That hurt. So that's why that was been the one that's most far behind. And again, Battle Order is easy because there's my legendaries. Sacred Order easy, there's my legendaries. And yes, Arrow's my dedicated DPS, and he just wrecked everything because I have him spec for Arena. Pinthroid definitely helped with buff removals and keeping things alive. And then I also had utility buffer from getting Archmage. Wherever he's at. Or no, Archmage is Bannerlord. Godseeker and Eerie. That's who it was. So it's like, yeah. I got what I need, cleared everything real fast. I didn't even use Deacon. I got Deacon late. If you got Deacon, use him. He'll clear it out for you. Barbarians was easy because of a champion we all get for free, Yakarl the Scourge. So if you're struggling with doing Barbarians, I mean, if you got Thor now, use Thor. But before, yeah, we get Syl for free. And you see, I didn't even pull a single Barbarian Legendary. And I still cleared it. You don't need a Legend. Some Legendaries will help you, but I still cleared it because some of the free ones will do it for you. If you're having trouble with Barbarians, you need to get Yakarl the Scourge. He will be your glass cannon, and if you give him so much accuracy, he will keep the entire enemy team frozen. So definitely do that. So that was fun, is that I'm like, he's a champion to get for free. Yeah, he's insane. So now now that I'm done, I'm gonna spec him for Arena. Just for that matter. And yeah, that was great. Some of these you may end up being easy, like Lizardman was easy for me because I got lucky. That's it. I got lucky. I have Teox. And that'll be for some of you as well. You may get the one lucky guy who's going to clear it all for you. But if not, definitely look up for team. This was fun for me trying to find the teams to build to figure out how to do. And like, who can I use for utility? Who can I use for tank? Who would be my glass cannon? To where before I got Teox, I was using Jarrig to get heals, but I also had Broadmon to revive everything. And Venomage was my damage dealer because I have a 6-star awakened Venomage. And Rosine to keep everything alive, and Fushan just to speed everything up and then stun. That's what I was doing. And then when I got Teox, I just cleared everything so fast. So you may get lucky and you may get frustrating like I was with Undead Horde. Look who I have. That's all I got. Bloodgorged is definitely not the DPS you need. He needs a buff. He does not hit like I thought he would. He definitely needs a buff. And then the stage, when the last stage you do is the mass healers or the 3 Valkyries, he's definitely not going to do anything with. Even Battle Khazar and UDK were having a tough time. So I'm like, okay, who's my 1 damage dealer? And I looked at who I had, and I went, Vogos 6-star, cool. Mausoleum Mage 6-star, cool. I'm like, this isn't working. And then when I got to the boss, it is the Dueler again. Ignores defense. UDK was basically worthless. I'm like, oh, this sucks. So I was going to lose someone, so then I replaced Mausoleum Mage for Gorgorat, but I still didn't have a dedicated damage dealer. I should have focused more on an axe, but I already had Dark Elhain at 6-star for Geist Golem. So I was using Dark Elhain, and it just was not enough. None of them were buff removals, nor debuffers of who I had. I'm like, oh, this sucks. And it's what took me 12 minutes to finish the last one. But then the last one I'm going to cover is the worst one I went through. The rest of them were just fine. Some were hilarious, like Oghren. Oghren, no damage dealers. Grazer carried it. Grazer, Ugir, Ugo, Claude, and... where are you at? Maneater. That's who it was. No damage dealers. All support, but Grazer carried it because the way I have him built. Grazer. I love the Iron Gut. But again, the last one I went to, the most frustrating. The rest of these were just fine, and some shocking, some okay, especially with who I got. The most frustrating was Knights Revenant. That was the most frustrating with me. Same enemy teams they had to face. The mass 5 healers at the beginning of stage 20, and the 3 Valkyries right before the boss. I hated that so much. And the problem with Knights Revenant, that's who I have for legendaries. It's like, but you got Calvalax. I know. Here's the problem with Calvalax. He does not... He hits like a wet noodle. He does. He hits like a wet noodle. His main thing was to apply poisons. And it's still only a 50% chance for that. You can put yourself 500 accuracy. It's still basically equivalent to like a 250 accuracy to try and put on things. And like, that's, if you have high enough, that's guaranteed. Even with the 4 poisons at the beginning, it was still a struggle because the Valkyries just threw shields up. And he, again, even though he has that and he does more damage with poisons, he's the only one I had of Knights Revenant with poisons because I don't have Theodore. If you have Theodore, use them both. And two more, use them. You're going to town. But because I didn't have him, he's a wet noodle. He literally hit like a wet noodle. Didn't do anything. I tried Eric's. I couldn't get Eric's to hit hard, but I did use Eric's to help. Mother Sibel helped with just utility just to try and benefit teams to keep them alive or do a revive if I'm about to die. And then down here is like, who do I have to hit hard? No one. I tried Franox, but because I don't have a buff removal, she was useless. The only one I had that I did not have the resources anymore to build was Whisper. Which, to be honest, I probably should have done that because it would have saved the headache from the final stage. So who else I had down here? I had Rector Drath, level 60 for the heals and the revive. So that's what's good with Rector Drath. And the Miscreated Monster is my literal monster in all of Knights, pretty much the game, for how I have him. He's insane. I just improved his accuracy to help with the stuns. Even then, he was still struggling to put the stuns on, which I went, how does someone over 400 accuracy fail to keep putting stuns on someone that he's affittedly strong against, like the Valkyries? It was frustrating that I just did not have a dedicated DPS, and some of these you can do. I just did not have the resources anymore to do it. So I went with what I had, hit like a wet noodle, and it took me an hour to kill the final boss. That sucked. Because it wasn't the dueler, it was the one where he just, I'm going to stun you, do that, AoE fear, and then, which the fear failed because all of them I did have high resistance. But then he has that, I'm going to swap HP with an enemy and go full health. And because I didn't have a dedicated damage dealer and he was not applying poisons every turn, the turn limit popped up and I went, uh-oh. Oh, wow. It's almost an hour? So how I got lucky finishing it is the boss swapped HP with Mother Sibel when Mother Sibel was at half HP. So he only went up by half. And I went, oh, thank you. Now I got to try and, again, that was still a threat that he could still do it again because all I had were people who just didn't do enough damage. So, okay, so what am I going to do? And eventually, he finally put 3 poisons on, and I extended it for 2 turns, and it finally killed him. I went, oh, and it was over 59 minutes. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. That took way too long. Knights Revenant was the most frustrating because I just did not have a dedicated damage dealer, nor the right team setup, because he's a wet noodle if you don't have the other poison dealers. That was the most frustrating ever. I wish I had the White King or the White Queen, because they'll definitely carry me. I wish I had Crixia, because Crixia will just wipe everything out. It would be nice, but we're not... A lot of us can't do that. So I still managed to do it, but was that frustrating? So that's just one thing I want to say. That was frustrating. Definitely get yourself a dedicated damage dealer and not do this. That was the most frustrating for me to do because I did not have one. Dwarves, I didn't have a dedicated damage dealer, but I did have Tormin. And he helped me finish all the way at the end. With Geomancer too. With the boss. So that's what I wanted to cover and explain with this. It's a bit of a long video, sorry for that, but yeah. Everything I've done with the faction crypts, and that I'm just now 1 stage away, it is demon spawn. I have to wait 5 days, and when that's done, I will finally have Lydia. So with that, let me know how you're doing on faction crypts, and what it is you still need help for. Don't be afraid to ask. I may not be a CC. If you do definitely need some more in-depth detail, definitely go to them. They're more for coverage of this. I just wanted to explain about my goal, what I did, and what I went through, and let you know which one was easy, which one was frustrating, and try and give you more insights on what champions to go after, especially if you don't have Teox. There's another option I was trying to build to do it. But yeah, hopefully this will help you with figuring out how to go through this. And again, try not to be so frustrated at trying to complete this. It will give you migraines. But don't be so frustrated. You will eventually get there. I finally did. I mean, that's all that's left. You will eventually get there to get Lydia. And who knows, some of you may already have all the champions. Like, I got a clanmate who has all the champions. He doesn't have Lydia yet. He's not focused on faction wars. So hopefully this just make you go back to do it and try and clear it out. And if you want more to explain more about how I did it and what I had to do, especially strategy-wise, with some of the bosses, that's the dueler. I hate the dueler. He's the one I hate the most. It's not the one that I had to face in Knight's Remnant. Because this one, again, I did not have a dedicated DPS, but the other ones that I did, I cleared them ridiculously fast. He's the easiest to deal with. The dueler's the most frustrating, especially with factions that don't have a dedicated healer or reviver. But let me know if you have any questions on that, if you want to learn more, and let me know where you're at on this. So type in the comments where you're at. Do you have Lydia? Is this something you still want to work on, or you just don't care anymore? So let me know about that down in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and do hit that bell so that you know when I upload videos, because again, like right now, I have to go to work again. And just to put in perspective, it's my 11th day straight, and this is the second session I've had 11 days straight. So let me know about that. That's why this has been, my schedule is just out the door. So do hit that bell so that you know when I do upload more videos. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, and as always, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.